Good evening, YouTube, and welcome back to another edition of Paisano's Music and Vinyl Talk. I am your host, as always, Paisano. Welcome. Tonight, we're going to talk about a band from the early 1980s punk scene in Southern California. The name of the group is the Minutemen. And they were something else, let me tell you. They were a trio. And this is a compilation album called The Politics of Time. I clearly remember buying this at Quincy Records in Quincy, Massachusetts. Would have been right around the time that D. Boone, their lead singer and guitarist and primary creative force, had been killed in a horrible crash. A van he was riding in Arizona. He was sleeping in the back of the van and the rear axle broke. And he got thrown from the vehicle and killed. Unfortunately, it brought the Minutemen to an end. And the other two members, Mike Watt, the bass player, and George Hurley, the drummer, went on to form another lesser-known group. Like I said, when I bought this, I didn't know it was a compilation. I had seen a piece in Rolling Stone magazine back around 1985 or so, saying that D. Boone had died, and the article piqued my curiosity, and I went out and I bought it. Like I said, didn't know it was a compilation. Came in between two studio albums. One of them, the one that came after this, Double Nickels on the Dime, was their last before the tragic death of D. Boone. And as far as punk bands go, these guys were virtuosos. These guys could really play their instruments. I don't know where the hell D. Boone learned to play. They always said that they were, ordinary guys, but there was nothing ordinary about the way this guy played guitar, or the way Mike Watt played bass, or the way George Hurley played drums. These guys were very skilled musicians, no doubt. And they were something to hear, and hearing it is one thing, seeing it is another. They were really a force. If you ever get a chance, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with this group, but if you ever get a chance, look up some videos of them. They were really a cut above most punk bands, and they really didn't sound like too many other punk bands. This came out on their own record label called New Alliance. It was a record label founded by D. Boone and the other members of the Minutemen. They were signed to SST Records, which was owned by members of Black Flag, which was another Californian punk band. This was released. Well, it was the tracks on it are recorded from January 1979 to September of 1983. There's actually one song on here that is by the Reactionaries, who was the Minutemen before they were the Minutemen. That was their name, the Reactionaries, and they had a very slight lineup change. They lost their lead singer, Martin Tamburovich was the lead singer. They got rid of him, but he remained a close friend of the band, obviously. Let's go over the track listing of this one. Side 1, we have Bass King, followed by Working Men Are Pissed, I Shook Hands, Below the Belt, Shit You Hear at Parties, The Big Lounge Scene, Maternal Right, Tune for Wind God. It says here recorded 4/24/83 at a dried riverbed in the Mojave Desert near Victorville, California. Interesting. Party With Me Punker. recorded 7/12/83 at our practice space in Long Beach, California. The Process, recorded 11/27/82 at KPFK in Studio City, California. And Joy Jam. Side 2 starts off with Tony Gets Wasted in Pedro, and that's the song that was recorded as The Reactionaries, January 1979. It says, recorded at the Shed in the back of George's house on 17th at San Pedro. Next up is Swing to the Right, Raza C, Times, Badges. Times and Badges were both recorded on a cassette in Mike Watt's living room without D. Boone or George Hurley. Just him and the bass, two very short songs. Next up is Fodder, recorded 12/26/1980 at the Blah 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 Cafe in Studio City, California. Next up, Futurism Restated, Hollering, Suburban Dialectic, Contained, On Trial, Spray Can Wars, My Part, Fanatics, Ack, which is a Minutemen classic. And the last song is The Big Blast for Youth, recorded 9/24/83 at the Longshoremen's Hall in Wilmington, California. All in all, a very interesting listen this past week. It had been ages since I heard this album, and probably the first time I listened to it from start to finish. And it gave me a newfound appreciation for them. I had kind of forgotten about them a little bit, and it prompted me to look up some videos on YouTube and learn a little bit more about them. There's a couple of documentaries about the band that you might want to check out if you're interested. That's the front, obviously. The back is the track listing and an illustration of two guys trying to stab each other. Very punk style there. Let's take a look at the vinyl. First side is the track listing, lists all the tracks. And the second side, the label is The Reactionaries. Treated kind of like a fake crime scene there with the eyes blacked out. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you learned a little something about a little-known, forgotten band. Not totally forgotten. They do have their fans. That's for sure. You can still find people that love this band online. What will Paisano dig up next week? Tune in, find out. If you're enjoying our discussions here, please like and, more importantly, subscribe. I would appreciate it very, very much. Until next time, this is your friend Paisano saying good night. Thank you, YouTube.